Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and first of all, let me apologize for the hum in the background. I know you can hear it. My Surface is in one of its moods, but you know what? I've got something to do tonight, and this news just broke, and I want to make this video while I still had the most feels about it. Now, the Academy Awards. I love the Academy Awards. They're my Super Bowl. The Oscars are my Super Bowl. I know it's not the most exciting thing to watch, but in my opinion, neither is the Super Bowl. So I think it all works out. In fact, I like them so much that I have actually written multiple books about the Academy Awards. There's my name. You can actually buy these on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Dimple Records if you're in Arden Fair Mall. And I will probably write more of them. And I take it very seriously. And I have been writing about things that the Academy could do to shake up the show itself. What new awards can they add? I have personally been a big proponent of Best 3D in a film because 3D movies have been around for now a decade. They should maybe be getting honored. Or maybe Best Voice Acting in an animated feature. You know, start to give the animation a little bit more prestige. But I hear a similar complaint every year that I always kind of just brush off. And people say, you know what? The Academy is not relevant anymore. And they're not relevant because they aren't nominating the movies I want to see. They don't nominate the movies I watch. If the Oscars were truly a reflection of the best film of the year, they would take the public's feelings into consideration. Now, I already made a whole video about why that is not true, and I will link to it at the end where I compared the choices of the Best Picture from the People's Choice Awards and the Academy Awards, and why you don't want that. Little heads up, it's an older video, so production values, not very good. I know they're not good now, but they really weren't good back then. But I always think that's a bad idea. I'm always a little trepid when they announce a new category for best, something type of film. So when they had the best animated film, that was a response to them not nominating movies like Toy Story 2, The Lion King, and Shrek specifically Chicken Little for Best Picture, even though they were widely regarded as some of the best films of the year, and the Golden Globes honored them too. Best Foreign Language Film has been around for a lot longer, but the same basic principle. There was a lot of great foreign language films that weren't being nominated for Best Picture, so they gave them Best Foreign Language Film. And the problem with both categories is that while it is nice to have some recognition for them, it has ultimately made it very hard for them to compete in the main category. No animated film has won Best Picture yet. No foreign language film has won Best Picture yet. Although Argo teetered just a little bit because there was enough, and so did Dances with Wolves. But ultimately, no foreign language film has won Best Picture. And very few have been nominated since, even though a lot more have been worthy of being nominated. Now, there has been a big controversy that the Oscar ratings are sagging. They are sagging all the time. This year hit an all-new low, and people are like, we got to do something to fix this. The ratings, we can't keep going this direction. We have to turn them around. And so they announced two changes. One, which was, I'm kind of not sure how I feel about that yet, which is why I'm not commenting on it yet. That's where they're going to be showing some of the winning categories off camera during the commercial break. And I've got some mixed feelings about that, and I might make a video about that later on. And the second, they are adding a Best New Popular Film. Not even Best Visual Effects laden film, not Best Superhero Movie, not Best Action Movie, not Best Science Fiction, Best Popular Film. And this is pretty much my greatest fear realized for the Academy Awards. They have turned what was originally a prestigious show into a popularity contest. And they have completely made the awards meaningless in a minute. Now, to understand what I mean, keep in mind, I'm not saying I don't like Logan. I'm not saying I don't like Deadpool. I'm not saying I don't like The Dark Knight. Actually, that's a bad example. Scratch The Dark Knight. I'm not saying I don't like Spider-Man 2. I'm not saying I like any of these movies. I'm not saying I don't like... Okay, I'm losing my track. But here's the thing. Here's what I'm trying to get at here. I like a lot of those movies I've listed. I like Big Hero 6. I like Jurassic World. I like all of these movies. I like blockers, which I always thought was supposed to be called cock blockers, but apparently not. I like the Muppets. But do they deserve to be in the Best Picture category? Probably not. Probably not. They are popular films. They are really enjoyable films, but they don't deserve to be in the Best Picture category. Now, people say all the time, well, my favorite movie of the year was Deadpool. It's like, well, you know, it was one of my favorites too. It was number 15 on my top 15 best films of the year list, which was a year that I expanded the top 10 list to 15 because there were so many good movies. And that doesn't mean it needs to be in the best picture category. It just doesn't. And a lot of people are saying, I don't watch the Oscars because they're not honoring my movies. But the thing is, the Academy does honor your movies. To say the Academy does not honor popular films is an outright lie. What about Avatar? Highest grossing film of all time. Was nominated for like 8 Academy Awards. It didn't win Best Picture, but it got pretty close. What about Return of the King, aka The Lord of the Rings? It was a complete sweep. And you know, they nominate and will give awards to popular movies that are worthy. Silence of the Lambs, that was considered a blockbuster movie at the time. That won Best Picture. It's just that the blockbuster films these days have been getting more and more routine. They're getting more predictable, they're getting more routine, and that's why the Academy doesn't nominate them. That's why they don't nominate them for Best Picture. When you make a Mad Max Fury Road or a Gravity, yeah, they'll get in the Best Picture race because they're exceptionally good movies. But you can't expect a nomination for Black Panther just because it was a cultural milestone. And it was. I will give you that. And it was very, very good. I gave it 4.5 stars. But it's still just a superhero movie. It follows the beats. It follows the patterns. It's not doing anything to particularly expand upon the superhero genre, other than showing that a minority cast member can, in fact, carry a movie and be in a very good one to boot. That's what it is. But the thing is, there's been a big push for Black Panther, especially this year. Last year, it was a lot of people wanted Logan to be a Best Picture nominee. And the year before that, I forgot what it was the year before that. There's so many of these superhero movies, probably the Avengers. And people say, well, they're not nominating these movies. Heck, the Best Picture winner last year was The Shape of Water. What was that? That was about fish sex? Why would I watch that? Never mind that it was a very good movie, and it's disappointing, really, that the one thing people have taken away from The Shape of Water is that it's about fish sex. No, it's about outcasts who fall in love, and it's in a fantasy setting. Really, it's a type of movie that you would think fantasy fans would love and flock to, but apparently, you know, they'll do guys with spider powers and guys who warp dimensions, but a woman who sleeps with a fish creature, apparently that's too outside the realm of plausibility for them. Now, here's what's kind of making me mad about this, because the way the award is worded, Best Popular Film, is that not the definition of a participation award that you've heard? They have not announced what it's going to take to be eligible for this award. I will, of course, discuss it when, you know, the time comes. But essentially, they are saying you are a popular movie. You're not good enough to be nominated for Best Picture, so we'll give you a Best Popularity Award. That is the worst. This is more than likely going to be based off a combination of box office, Rotten Tomatoes, and Twitter discussion. That's how it's going to be. And the Academy Awards has always been very honest, and they've had integrity. You don't have to agree with everything they do, and trust me, I still have not quite forgiven them for snubbing The Dark Knight, and it's been 10 years. But the voting process is fair. It's usually done with integrity. And you know what? Once in a while, they surprise you. They nominated Mad Max Fury Road for 11 Academy Awards because they acknowledged how that movie pushed the art of filmmaking forward. And they even gave it 6. Now, they couldn't quite bring themselves to go to Best Picture. They felt Spotlight was more important. But you know what? Hey, they're improving. They are improving. And they nominated Get Out, an excellent horror movie that doubled as a social commentary. That was also very good. And now you're going to be seeing those movies in the Best Picture category less and less because they have the participation trophy. That's essentially going to be, okay, here are the real movies that are good. And here's the popular movies that we nominate to get people to watch the show. And that's the other reason this is being done. It's because the ratings are just tanking. And they seriously tanked last year, or this year. So here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to make a lot of people very, very upset. The Academy Award telecast did not do poorly because of the movies. It didn't. It did poorly because of the anti-Donald Trump jokes. Now, here's the thing. I don't like Donald Trump. I'm going to say it right now. I don't like the guy. I think he's done some very, very stupid things. I support him because he's my president, but he's not the greatest president I've lived through. Personal take. But it doesn't matter what I think about it, and it doesn't matter what Hollywood thinks about him. Half of the country like him, and they voted for him. And so when you start the show, and like right away you're making fun of Donald Trump, the Trump supporters feel like they're getting kicked on, and they're like, no, I'm not going to spend 3.5 hours watching this. I don't need this. And this year's Academy Awards was especially problematic because it was so political, it got annoying. And I know several people who normally watch the Oscars, they didn't watch it. I always throw like an Oscar party every year, and the amount of groans was pretty loud. And my group of people, I would say roughly half are Democrat and half are Republican. And even the Democrats, in fact, one of them who actually was a big Bernie Sanders person, still tweets about how Bernie Sanders was screwed to this day, got to a particular joke in the Academy Awards where even she was like, oh God, this is getting annoying. And for the record, the joke was when, I think it was Diego Luna, I think that was who it was, came on, he was presenting the best song performance for Coco. And he said, in the land of the dead, there's family, friends, and there is no wall. Now, what was interesting about this is that nobody laughed. Not even on the screen. He waited, nobody laughed. And I think they didn't laugh for two reasons. One, it really was not a funny joke. But two, when you watch Coco, you know that there's something wrong with that statement because there is a wall. There's a security check, and there's basically immigration. And that's one of the big story plots. Hector can't get through and celebrate the Day of the Dead because nobody really remembers him. Or, so something like that. So, you know what, there's an immigration thing, so that didn't work. But that's why the show is doing poorly in the ratings, because it's all politicized, and people don't need to see rich, stuck-up liberals making the same jokes over and over again for 3 to 4 hours and handing each other awards. They don't need to do that. I like seeing who's winning, but the speeches are nauseating. They truly, truly are. And they think that giving out a popular film award is going to help them. No, it's not. First of all, I predict it will not help the ratings whatsoever. It just will not. But then it's also going to undermine the integrity, because here's the thing. I think they're introducing this now specifically because of Black Panther. And again, I like Black Panther a lot, but it's not getting nominated for Best Picture. It has no chance of getting nominated for Best Picture. There are much better movies than that to nominate. And they don't want another Oscar so white. So they're going to introduce the Best Popular Film Award, and they're going to give Black Panther that award so that they can avoid the racism claims. That's what they're going to do. And the award might last for a year or two, who knows. But it'll be gone soon because people are going to realize, yeah, once you start nominating movies like Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and maybe a Star Trek movie that might not be that good, then it's like, well, you're kind of, taking away the value of the award now. And that's not good. So I hope that this is I think this is a mistake. I hope they change their mind. I hope it doesn't even get past the planning stages. Well, I guess it's past the planning stages, but I hope it doesn't get through the actual show itself. And there's a lot of people on social media who are even, and I'll share some of the tweets in another video, they are showing that they do not like this award. They don't like this idea. They don't like it. Now, in all fairness, there is a potential good thing about this. And I will discuss this in a couple days, the potential good things that could come from this award, because I think both sides need to be heard. But I just want to state right now, I think by and far, this is a bad idea, and I don't want them to do that. But what do you folks think? Do you like the idea of this award? Do you not like the idea? Do any of you have my books? I would love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly. And, as always, flame responsibly. I'll see you at the movies.